Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs have another elite quarterback on the way, and of course, his name is Gunnar Stockton, one of the all-time great quarterbacks in Georgia high school football history. Four-year starter out of Rabun County, and he is going to be headed to Athens to play for the Georgia Bulldogs and sign in this 2022 class. One of the top quarterback prospects in the country, and Dog Post was out to see him once again this past Friday night, where he scored 7 total touchdowns. Now, we don't have video of all 7, but we do have a few that we are going to play for you right now. In the first half, he was definitely Gunnar the runner, taking off multiple times for big yards. He had 2 rushing touchdowns in the first half. He threw for a touchdown at the end of the first half, and of course, we left the game at halftime, and he continued to throw the ball all over the place, throwing for 4 more touchdowns in the second half. But we were there for that first half, and we saw him really take off, use his speed, and use his ability to break tackles, especially with his legs. This was his season best, 154 rushing yards on the night, and of course, the 2 scores that you are watching right now. So we know he can throw the football. He's been slinging it around the place since he was a freshman at Rabun County. He throws it, with the best of them. He's got a great arm. He's really accurate, but I wouldn't say he has elite arm strength or elite accuracy. He is an elite playmaker, making plays both throwing the ball and running the ball, but he's got a quick release, and he has more than a strong enough and good enough arm to make throws at the SEC level. He trains with Ron Veal, one of the top quarterback trainers in the state. He's been doing this for a while now. He's fundamentally sound. He's got great footwork, especially in the pocket, great pocket awareness, pocket presence, whatever you want to call it. And as you can see, his mobility in general, all of these clips so far, as you could tell, are of him running the ball. He really didn't throw it a whole lot in that first half, or else we would have clips of that too. But we're showing you how well he can run the ball. There's plenty of him throwing the ball on Dog Post, on our social media, so make sure you go check that out. But he runs with authority. He is a guy that can get you 3 yards on a 3rd and 3 or a 3rd and 2. Goal line situations, 4th and 1 on the goal line. You don't necessarily need a running back, because Gunnar Stockton can do that for you. About 6 foot on his best day, standing straight up, but he's a solid 220. He is thick, especially in the lower body. He's got a nice little stiff arm that you can see in one of these clips, but if you don't wrap him up and tackle him with both arms and grab onto his feet, he's getting by you. He can bounce off tackles with his lower body and get those tough yards and those yards around the goal line. And that's something that a Georgia quarterback hasn't had in a long, long time. When's the last time you asked a Georgia quarterback to, get you 3 yards on a 4th and 2 at midfield or anything around the goal line? But this is a guy who can do it. I think Brock Vandagriff can do that a little bit as well. But this is somewhat what Gunnar specializes in. He's run the football more, I believe, as a sophomore and a junior than he did this year. He didn't run it nearly as much as he has in the past, but he can do that. And in the first round of the playoffs, obviously season on the line, they wanted him to establish the run, which opened up the pass. And in that second half, there were guys running wide open left and right, because they knew that he was a threat to run the ball. And I think he can still bring that element to the SEC. It's not going to be as easy, and he's not going to be trucking SEC defenders like he is at this high school level, but he's still going to be tough to tackle and tough to wrap up, and he brings, that element, especially in the zone read game, that he can take it and really take off. And when he takes off and hits, that speed, he picks up yards in a hurry, and he can take it to the house for a guy 220 pounds. So again, he runs hard, he runs with authority, and we saw a lot of that this past weekend. I'm asked to compare him to Brock Vandagriff a lot. I would still rank Brock Vandagriff ahead of Gunnar Stockton if they were in the same class. I really liked Brock more and more the more I saw him. And he was a little bit more accurate than I've seen from Gunnar. And I think that's taking him a little time to adjust right now at Georgia, working on that accuracy and building chemistry with some of these big-time SEC receivers that are in that room right now, the healthy ones at least. But I think Gunnar is a guy who can do very well in Todd Monken's system. I think he would play a lot earlier somewhere else, but he's going to try to make a run at this job one way or another. And he has the skill set to, if he does win the job at some point, to really take off with it. And again, he's the son of a coach. He knows the game very well. He's been playing it his entire life. He knows what he's doing. So he can play that quarterback position. He's not just an athlete out there. He's not just a guy who can throw the ball, not pass the ball. We say it all the time. You have to have a guy who can play quarterback. Stetson Bennett is playing quarterback really well at Georgia, and I think Gunnar Stockton can absolutely play quarterback at an SEC level and maybe beyond. But he's a dual threat guy that Georgia hasn't really seen or started for quite a while, and I think Brock Vandagriff is that same type of guy. But we've seen Gunnar a good bit. I've seen him a lot in 7-on-7 type of stuff. I've seen him throw the ball around a good bit. This is the first time this year that I've seen him on Friday nights. I know Dean Legge has seen him multiple times now, and he told me, we've got a riding home talking about all this, but Gunnar has grown on us more and more every time we watch him, especially on Friday nights. He is a gamer. He is a playmaker. He can take a busted play and turn it into something, and he can always chunk it deep or take it to the house with his legs. So he is a top 100 guy for me. I'm not sure he is a 5-star because, again, I don't think he's elite at a lot of different stuff. I just think he's really, really good at a lot of things, but he's probably barely a top 50 player for me. I'd put him between 40 and 60 in the country, which is still a really, really good player. But the numbers prove he is one of the all-time best. On the season as a senior, he's thrown for 3,530 yards, 49 touchdowns, just one interception. 49 touchdowns, one interception. He's also rushed for 784 yards and 11 more touchdowns. In his career, Gunnar Stockton has thrown for 13,048 yards and 171 touchdowns to go with just 17 interceptions. Again, 171 touchdowns passing with 17 interceptions. He's also rushed for 4,200 yards and 73 touchdowns in his career. He has rewritten the record passing, the state record in a lot of these passing yardage. He passed Deshaun Watson for total yards in a career this past Friday. He also owns the most total touchdowns in a career with 244, most passing touchdowns with 171, and most total yards in a career with 17,248 total yards in his career. He only needs just the passing yard career mark out of him. Of course, Trevor Lawrence holds that record. Gunnar needs 855 passing yards to break the career passing yards record. He could do that if he takes Raymond County all the way to the state title game. So he's an all-time great for a reason, and we really appreciate y'all watching these videos. As always, hope you enjoyed them. Stay tuned to the next video coming up right now, and I'll see you over on the website.